Welcome. Good morning and welcome to the webinar How to Use What You Have to Actually Keep Your Business Afloat and Get You More Sales, Clients, Achieving Unlimited Wealth During a Crisis Such as this pandemic, COVID-19. Hello once again, my name is Paul Kushamiju, the business growth consultant and strategist to the Ivan Consult, the health coach, ISO auditor, medical doctor, customer experience professional and coach, health and safety manager, among others. Say, how do I keep my business afloat? Is a question on many business entrepreneurs' minds, many small business owners and startups' mind. Seeing this pandemic, COVID-19, and seeing the flood of bankruptcy about taking sweeping businesses under the bridge. How can I keep my business afloat? Some few days ago, we heard the news about Access Bank retrenching about 800 of its staff. But what if I was to show you a way where you do not have to retrench any staff, but I begin to show you hidden assets, hidden opportunities in your business to help raise your business above the tide of bankruptcy that's sweeping small businesses right now and keep your business afloat, and then get you more sales, more clients, totally getting you to the reward or your goal that you've set for your business, which is unlimited wealth. And wealth is whatever you want it to be. For some people, wealth is success. For some people, wealth is more clients. For some people, wealth is more sales. For some people, wealth is more resources. Whatever success is to you, that is your wealth. So I say welcome once again to the webinar on how to use what you have, the little secrets on how to show you how to use what you have to actually keep your business afloat above the rising tide of bankruptcy sweeping small-scale businesses and get you more sales, clients, achieving unlimited wealth during a crisis and pandemic like we do have now. Imagine if you had access to unlimited capital. What would you want? Or imagine you could write a check for anything you want. What would you write the check for? Would you write a check for more advertisements? Or more salespeople? More facilities? More expertise in your business? More operations? More manufacturing sites? More distribution channels? Or would you write a check on how to penetrate new markets? Or would you write a check to acquire new businesses? Because let me tell you today that what the mind can conceive and believe from today onwards, you will achieve. I want you to say it after me. What my mind can conceive and believe from today forward, I will achieve. Let me tell you a story. This is a story that happened aeons and aeons of years ago when Rome was trying to conquer the world and decided to attack Greece. And the Greeks, which were philosophers in those days, were trying to rally their population to get them to go and fight the Romans. So they gathered in the town square, brought in a lot of Greeks to the town square, and then they brought in their most respected orator of all times called Demosthenes. Demosthenes was an eloquent man who spoke in a very eloquent way. He had a silvery tongue, and he could speak with the most amazing verbiage that you've ever heard. Demosthenes got up for 3 hours and began to speak and speak. And at the end, when it was done, the applause from the crowd went up, saying that was unquestionably the greatest speech they've ever heard. And then was asked for anyone else who wanted to speak. And a little hand went up, and he was called to the podium. And then as he began to walk to the podium, with his head down, not even able to look at the place where he was walking to, but he was very intimidated. It was a little smallish farmer by the name of Heracles. Heracles and his family had been in Greece for centuries. They were uneducated, but they had a love for the land of Greece. They loved their country, Greece, so much. They loved this culture, they loved this freedom. And Heracles was just very passionate about Greece. So Heracles got up to the podium very awkwardly, and he began to speak. And as he spoke, tears began to roll down his eyes. You could feel the passion in his voice when speaking about Greece. His country, the love for the freedom of the country. He had only talked for 20 minutes. And when he was done, the people shouted with one accord, "Let's march!" So what do you think happened? Two men spoke. One spoke very eloquently, but he only got an applause for it. The second spoke with passion, and his passion ignited action. So what I am here today to do, speaking, is to speak with passion and get you to march after this webinar. For you to start doing something very meaningful, profitable, and valuable. Not just for yourself, but for each and every person you meet. I want to inspire an action by the time this webinar is done. So don't accept any restrictions, limitation, or constraints in your mind. Because know that what my mind can conceive and believe from today forward, I will achieve. We are rewarded in life for mostly two things. And the third thing is the vehicle that gives us the reward. We're rewarded in life first for the quality, complexity, and consistency of problems we solve for other people. And two, we are rewarded in life for the quality of opportunities we make possible for others. I told you about the third thing, which is the value, which is the bridge. It's known as adding value. This adding value is what makes this reward in life very, very possible. Because here you see the need in a deeper way than anyone else sees it. And you see the positive outcome, the solution, in a very clear way. And then using your ability to make it possible, either by facilitating it or educating people in it, is the value added. And when people feel that they can add value with solutions they have, they form a business. Questions on people's minds when they start a business is, how large a business do I want? Can I have a business I want? Where am I now? Can I get people that would like to buy the products I'm selling? Can I get people that want to order it? Like startups, like Okra, we just got a seed funding of $1 million. The next thing is going to be thinking about is, we've started now, how can we grow this business? What are the new approaches we can use to enter the market? What are the new selling distribution channels we can get into? What kind of partners can we move with? What kind of more products can we bring into the market? What other markets can we enter into? And because if you want to create unlimited wealth and growth in your business and grow your business up, you need to partner. That's where it brings on alliances and acquisitions, which is very, very important in business. You can form an alliance with products and services, distribution channels, salespeople, sales methodologies, technologies, facilities, equipment, brand, and so on and so forth. There's so many things you can form an alliance with in your business. 2 or 3 webinars ago, we talked about power partnering. We talked about joint ventures, strategic alliances. And if you haven't seen any of those webinars, I implore you that after this webinar, go and listen to them again. The webinar on joint ventures, on mega partnering, on strategic alliances. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. But I want to tell you something, that today in business is becoming very brutal. It's very ultra competitive. So look at this. You have a brutal competition. You have a disloyal market. You have your buyers with lots of options and alternatives that they can go for. You have fear from your buyers. You have apprehension, uncertainty also from the part of your buyers. So the perfect mechanism to get you the instant access you need, the instant credibility, accelerated buy-in, or real bond and trust from your buyers is through strategic alliances and joint ventures. Because through that, you can control the world. And do you know that the number of alliances every day, every year has been increasing 30 to 40%? And in a study done with the top 2,000 countries or companies of the world, it was discovered that 35% of their revenue comes from strategic alliances or power partnering, which also include joint ventures. So, to show you the importance and strength of an alliance, I'm sure you know about them. In the airline industry, there's a Star Alliance. 4 or 5 airlines starting that, and then see how far they have grown. So much more airlines coming into it. And each of these airlines is making so much more than they would do individually. There's so many benefits about strategic alliances. Well, it can help you achieve advantage of speed in your business. It can help increase your market penetration. It can enhance your competitiveness, It can enhance your product development. It can help you develop new business opportunities through products and services. You can create new businesses at will. You can get control of tangible and intangible assets. You can use strategic alliances and joint ventures to sharply reduce costs in your business and increase profits in your business. There's so many things that you want to do, but you can't afford to do on your own. With strategic alliances, joint ventures, power partnering, all this is possible because it is an income stream. What if, a big if, what if today I gave you unlimited money to do whatever you wanted to do in your business? Would you use the money to open offices? Would you use the money to run advertisements? Would you use the money to penetrate distribution channels? Will you use the money to produce more products and services? Would you use the money to hire salespeople, to bring more expertise into your business that you don't have? What would you use this money that you never believed or thought you could have, but now is within your grasp? This money shows that you have unlimited buying power. There will be no risk into what you do. What would you do with this money? I'm sure many of us with this kind of money would do so many things. But let me tell you, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, the business world has changed drastically. Advertising works less. Salespeople close fewer prospects. And the cost of getting new products to the market or penetrating new markets has become massively huge. The success probability of you doing it alone is down, possibly of 4%, 1 in 25, if you go at it alone. But if you use what I'm about to tell you, which I call the relational capital, maximizing leverages, you will play a wonderfully better game plan than anyone else. You'll gain infinitely more marketing, more selling power, more distribution power, more buying power, because you'll gain almost Herculean leveraging strength. You'll be able to counter virtually any issue or challenge that would ordinarily bring your business to its knees. It will increase your bottom line. It will increase your odds of winning and winning really big. Let me tell you a story. It's a story that happened in China a few years ago. A friend of mine and a mentor had cause to go to China a few years ago, and he met this young Chinese man who was like an entrepreneur who wanted to start manufacturing motorcycles. And he spoke to this my friend and told him that he had tried going to the bank to get them to give him some money for a loan, but the banks were all rejecting him. So he was confused. He didn't know what to do. Well, so my friend told him, what would you do if you had the money that the bank does not want to give you? He said, well, since he wants to manufacture motorcycles, he will travel, he'll go outside China. He'll go to Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, Vietnam. He would look for partners there. He would open offices there. He will get salespeople to sell his business there, get distributors, retailers, and everyone in those countries to help him sell. And he will be shipping his motorcycle from China all the way there, if he had to. So my friend called him and said, why don't you do this? Let's change how you're looking at this. Why don't you shortcut everything you want to do? And this young Chinese man asked him, that, what does it mean? He should explain better. So he told my friend Jay, told him that I want you to go to a country you want to go to, any of the countries you say you want to go to, and look for somebody who has a manufacturing plant that possibly isn't using it optimally, who has possibly a distribution channel of how he's selling his goods. And he said, make a deal with him and then come back and we'll see what we can do. So my friend Jay went back to China a year after that, and then he met his young friend again. And his young friend was smiling so well. And Jay asked him, what happened? Did you meet the people you went to make the deal with? And the young Chinese man said, yes, that I want to tell you what I've done for the past 1 year. He said, I went all the way to Malaysia and I found a lawnmowing company. Now, this is a company that produces lawnmowers. If for those who have gardens, they basically produce the kind of equipment that cuts the garden. It's like a garden trimmer on 4 wheels that you push. So he said he found a lawnmowing company. They had a manufacturing plant, which they would normally do 2 shifts, but right now was only operating 1 shift. So they had a free second shift. The man had employees, people that would operate the manufacturing site. He had salespeople. My Chinese friend said it looked too good to be true. So he made a deal with the man. And the man said, and this law Mona company owner told him that he would give him the second the second the second lawn mowing company shift. He would give him the use of all his staff, his operators and all that, if their deal was going to be successful. So this Chinese guy said the only thing he had to do was that he had to train the staff on how to produce, how to manufacture the motorcycles, how to couple them together. So he said he would have to bring his dyeing equipment to this place in Malaysia to get it done there. And so he said the business started. And he said, as I was talking with my friend Jay, in 1 year, he had made over $10 million from the sales of the motorcycles him and this lawnmower company owner had done together. You see the power of relational capital. You see the power of partnerships. You see the power of joint ventures. Let's continue. Imagine that the world is a 3D movie and you're the only one with 3D glasses. So I want you to be able to see connections, see correlations, and begin to connect the dots. Because if the world, as we call it, the world is your oyster, is really our oyster, then that means you can do anything you want, anywhere you want, anywhere you want, because you've got the power now. And when you have infinite power, you have a responsibility to yourself and the market to give them the best, even if it means selecting the right partner. And the right partner doesn't necessarily have to be the biggest partner. Sometimes it may be the third best in his industry, because he'll do better than he can. He'll try harder and be more cooperative because he values you. And let me tell you, the world being your oyster, once you can grab the magnitude of possibility that what I'm going to tell you about, which is relational capital, can make possible for you, the world is really your oyster. Because with relational capital, you can get other businesses, associations, media, organizations, influencers, enterprises, all to sell your products or your brand to their infinity groups. You can access near infinite capital equivalent, intellectual capital, highly receptive markets for nothing at all. No investment whatsoever, little effort, and zero risk. Let me tell you a story. It's a story about someone that went to Rockefeller a long time ago, and he wanted to borrow about, I think, $500,000 in those days, and that was a lot of money then. And Rockefeller told him that, I'm not going to borrow you the money, but you know what I'll do? I'm going to walk down the New York Stock Exchange floor with you 3 times. And then after that, anybody you go to meet that you want to borrow money will borrow you the money. You know that's exactly what happened. Imagine you go to meet Dangote or Femi or Tedola and tell them you want to borrow money from them, and they say, no, I'm not going to borrow you money. But you know what I'll do? I have some business conferences I have to go. We'll go together. You'll always be my company. We'll eat together. We'll have lunch together and different things. And after that, anybody else you go to try and do a partnership with or do a business venture or try to source for funds will give you the money you want. Please tell me, do you think that won't work? Imagine someone has been seeing you in conferences in the company of Dangote. You've been having lunch. He sees you drinking tea and different things, Dangote, and you come to meet him for a business venture or to seek for funds. He'll give it to you. So you can become regional, national, international overnight using these principles. You can create 100 to 10,000 person sales force for yourself almost instantly without requiring a penny of recruitment expense, without needing a single management person, without paying out a penny. for travel expenses, salaries, or whatsoever. You can magically manifest almost anything your business requires to grow, expand, or prosper. Whether it's equipment, whether it's technology, whether it's facilities it needs, whether it's staff, marketing, advertising, retail locations, manufacturing, influence, distribution, whatever it needs. If it's marketplace dominance, you can provide it by alliances. If you want to create greater business wealth, to secure a lifetime of financial certainty, find a powerful way to catapult your business upward to greater performance. And I have the perfect answer for this: relational capital strategy. And I'm sure you're wondering, what is this relational capital Paul keeps talking about? Because I don't get it. Just hold on a while. You can use power partners, joint venture, strategic alliances to get businesses, to get deals. But when we enter into relational capital, these joint ventures, these strategic alliances, these partner deals, we begin to maximize them, monetize them. It will give us enormous buying power and brand building capacity. So what do we say is relational capital? Relational capital is defined as maintaining, mining or harvesting, maximizing and fully developing high quality relationships with any organization, individual or group, and then continuously nurturing these relationships till it influences or impacts our business. This can include a relationship between us and our clients, our customers, between us and our suppliers, between us and our employees, between us and the government, between us and our partners, between us and our competitors, between us and industry leaders. Whatever relationship we have with each of these people, it can help us get to the near infinite number of sales, marketing, performance, competitive product, service development, channel penetration goals we've set for us and our business. Because the wider, broader, and better managed your network, portfolio of relationships that you have and that you sustain, the more successful, profitable, and unbeatable your business becomes. Let me say it again. The wider, broader, and better managed your network and portfolio of relational capital assets and access, that's your relationships, how best you maintain them and grow them and nurture them, the more successful, profitable, and unbeatable your business becomes. Because really, in actual fact, how this stands out from joint ventures is that joint ventures have only just a little fraction of the power that relational capital has. Joint venture shows you how to take a leverage on a particular product or service and build a business around that. But many times with joint venture, once that business or service is done, it ends. But relational capital, there's no end to it. It's continuously done. It's a relationship you need to keep building. Because joint ventures can be singular, they can be tactical. Relational capital is strategic. It shows you what you need to keep doing, keep building relationships. People ask, so why is it important to have relational capital? Why is that better than having a joint venture, as you would say? Because research has been found recently that your intangible assets, meaning your relationships, distribution channels, access, influences, your brand, the trust that every business has, the intangible assets of every business should represent at least 40% of your business performance strength. What does this mean? This means that the intangible assets you have in your business should be responsible for about 40% of revenue coming into that business. So because if your business doesn't even know what, where, or how rich your portfolio of untapped relational capital opportunity and potential is, you obviously are leaving at least 40% of your product performance potential unrealized. You're leaving 40% of revenue on the table, not actualized. Because let me tell you this secret. The relationship, not just people, relationship drive new sales and profitability. Let me tell you the secret again. Relationships, not just people, drive new sales and profitability. But we, as business owners, entrepreneurs, make mistakes, and it's that all our success many times is dependent on just one source. So we have a linear thinking mindset. We're thinking just one way because we make money from doing this business, so we keep doing it. We just stay there. We don't move at all. We just use one selling approach, one market. Well, it will give you good enough success using that one market, one business approach, one source of income, but it will never give you near infinite access to every market you would like to penetrate and make your product available in. Another mistakes we make, startups especially, even small business owners, is that we feel we can do everything ourselves. We want to do everything ourselves. We want to do the marketing ourselves. We want to do the strategic planning ourselves. We want to do the distribution channels ourselves. We want to do everything ourselves. And then we have this self-deluded reality that if we don't have enough capital, enough resources, then we are limited. All this is all linear thinking. We need to expand our minds. We need to know that we've always had and we have today, in the future, the infinite capacity to acquire any resource, any skill set, anything that capital would buy, as long as we understand how to make the proposition to whoever has it. Let me tell you a couple of stories. There was this medical delivery guy by the name of Ahmed. And Ahmed would drive his motorcycle, taking this medical labs. When they take a blood sample, then the hospital and the lab were some distance apart, so he would take the samples from the hospital and go and drop them in the labs and then come back. And then this is friend Femi. Femi was sitting down one day. Femi was a student, and Femi was thinking of what businesses could he do. And then he had been noticing Ahmed driving back and forth in his medical delivery of samples and different things every day. Now, Femi in his neighborhood, right there in the north, noticed that there were lots of people that needed deliveries done. They needed people to send things to someone right away, but things were not getting done. So Femi was wondering, how could he leverage on this? So one day Femi called Ahmed and said, Ahmed, I see that you take samples to the lab from the hospital when the doctor tells you, may take them. And Ahmed said yes. So he said, okay, Ahmed, after you have done what the doctor says you should do, I want to give you another business to do, and then we will share the profits. So Ahmed said, okay. So Femi told him, don't do it when you are busy. Do it only when you are free. So Ahmed agreed. Femi then went around getting people who wanted deliveries. They did not care what time it was delivered, as long as it was delivered that day. So every day Femi will get all these deliveries and get them to pay for it all. And Femi will get all these down together and give it to Ahmed. So Ahmed, after delivering the doctor's samples, and since he was free on his way back, will start making these deliveries. You will not believe how much they started making every month. They were making nothing less than almost 2 million naira every month from making deliveries for people. Let me give you another story. That's an example of relational capital leveraging on people, leveraging on expertise and things. Let me give you another example, and this happened in the US. There was a certain chiropractor who lived in North Carolina. His business was thriving. For those who don't know what a chiropractor does, they are like physiotherapists. They work on the bones and different things. So one day, this chiropractor was walking down and he noticed that in his area there were a lot of pine trees. And what will happen in this pine trees area was that they had a lot of forests, and these pine trees would drop their pine needles, and then the pine needles, when they started getting dry, they could cause very bad fire hazards. So the forestry association there would pay someone to go to this forest and try to pack all these pine needles away. So the chiropractor noticed that and took notes. He did his research and discovered that, it was a trucking company they would pay the money to go every time to the forest to collect the pines, and then it will come back empty. So he also did some more research and then noticed that down the road, some few blocks down from his house, there was a car lot. This guy was a car dealership man, but he didn't have really much cars in his car lot, so he had a lot of space. And he also noticed that it was vacant and for rent. So he did some more research and noticed that there was in a school, a college close by. There were a lot of students that wanted to do work. They were looking for any menial jobs that they could get little cash, which we know as we've been students, that's what we always want to do, something to get little cash while we're in school. So what did this chiropractor do? He first went to the forest association and told them, instead of you paying for these needles that you want destroyed and taken away, I'll take it off you for free. Don't pay me for it. I'll take it off you for free. And then I will find out what I will do with the pine needles. But you know what this chiropractor knew? He knew that when the pine needles began to decay, whether they gotten dry and they began to break down, they will break down and form a very, very important fertilizer that was good for the ground. So what he did was, after that, he then went to the car lot and spoke with the man there and said he wanted to use his car lot, he wanted to rent it, but he's not selling cars, but he was going to sell some little fertilizer and different things, and he would get some people to help him sell it. And if the man had someone else that wanted to rent the car lot, he would vacate the place. But that he will not pay the man right now, but he will pay him as a commission of every sale he made. And the car lot owner agreed. Next, he went to the school and began to put off ads there for students who wanted to work for some little commission. And he got a lot of students that wanted to do it. So he went to the truck driver and told him that he's noticed and he's spoken with the forest people that he needed these pine needles. He doesn't need to throw them, he doesn't need to take them away. He would want him to please bring that for him into this car lot place where he had prepared for it. And he told him, he agreed with him, he would pay him a commission on every one of them as they were sold. So he went about, he got these pine needles, they were decaying, into sacks in the car lot, got the students to come and sell these sacks, and he got people who wanted to do fertilizers for trees, for gardens in their house, and different things came buying this fertilizer. You will not believe, after paying the trucking company, the trucking driver that was working for him, after paying the student, after paying the car lot dealer, this, my friend, the chiropractor, was making $400,000 extra every month. To show you the power of relational capital leverage, leveraging on other people's money, time, skill, idea, expertise. One very important fact when it comes to using leverage is because of the business growth it helps your business attain. And there are different pillars to this business growth. I will quickly go over them. One is continuously identifying and discovering hidden assets in your business. And what does this mean? It means overlooked opportunities, underperforming activities, which are inside or outside your business. And you do this continuously, not just one time, not just when you get home today or after work and then you're tired and you say, I can't do it today. No, but you can pick maybe one day a week, maybe on a Saturday between 12 and 2. You sit down. You have what I call a thinking time. You sit down and begin to think, begin to try to discover what are the assets, what are the opportunities in my business that I am not seeing. And you begin to think through your entire business end to end. Though that's the only way, and it's not easy, but you have got to do it to make it work. You have got to be consistent on it. Next is mining cash windfalls each and every month out of your business. And this means when you mine, when you harvest, when you uncover and discover these hidden opportunities, these hidden assets in your business, even if they're very little, it enforces your belief in your business, knowing that you can discover more hidden assets, more hidden opportunities in your business. The third one here is engineering success into every action you take or every decision you make. Well, this is most probably the most seemingly obvious statement you've ever heard. But if I had time to ask you, of all the things you've done with your marketing, your competition, your selling, and everything, I'm sure you failed at it much more than you succeeded. So, other things of how you can raise your business strategically is building your business on a foundation of multiple profit sources instead of depending on one single revenue source. Remember I talked about it when I talked about the mistakes that we have. We think linearly, so we only have one source of revenue. But we've got to make sure consciously that we've got to make multiple resource centers, revenue generating, logistics providing, transportation providing, expertise providing. All these combined can give you more leverage in your business. 5. The fifth pillar, being different, special, unique, and advantageous in the eyes of your customers. How do you do this? Because you need to add value. When you add value to your customers, when you keep building the relationship with your customers, then they see you as unique, special, different, and advantageous. They see that being with you is an advantage to them. 6, you've got to create real value. This is very close to 5, creating real value for your customers and employees for maximum loyalty and results. And how do you create this real value? Because this real value is not dependent on you. It's dependent on the other side. Because your ideal value and that of your customer might be different, might not be aligned. So you've got to know what is value to your customer and make sure you create that value for your customer. So he sees it as really value he's getting from you. Not you feeling I'm giving him value, but he does not see it as value for himself. 7, gaining maximum personal leverage from every action, investment, time, or energy commitment you ever make. See here, you should know how to leverage in every way to be able to figure out and understand how to own the world, what to do next, what's your first order consequence, the second order consequence. So when you know in leveraging other people's money, time, service, skill, and you know what you'll gain from each and every one of them, you will make sure you get maximum from every action. The next pillar of strategic business growth in leverage is networking, masterminding, brainstorming with like-minded, success-driven people who share real life experiences with you. For me, I put that as you need a mastermind alliance. Now, what do I mean? A mastermind alliance is very interesting, very, very interesting. Here, you identify like 6 or 12 people who are like-minded in terms, who have an like you. They have an aspiration for greatness, to succeed. They are open-minded. They are not linear thinking people, but they think disruptively. They don't want to be average thinkers. They are very, very good if they are in different industries from you, because they'll have different experiences that they can share with you. Not just only experiences in business, but it may even come from family influences, educational sector, teaching you, telling you things they learned while in business, or dealing with their families, or dealing with human beings. Now, it will be good for you having this alliance where you share ideas, because a mastermind group can give you access to many things that you have gaps in. For example, if you target about 6 people from different other industries and you always share views, imagine when you want to make a business decision and you decide to share it with them. They won't tell you, hey, no, this won't work. Don't do it that way. That's stupid. Don't do. Why would you think that way? No, they won't do that, because they're business owners. They're like-minded, geometrically growing, thinking people. And they will tell you, I'm sure they'll say, let me tell you why this thing might not work from my experience. And they will tell you their experience in their own industry, how they tried it. But if they see is a possibility in my work, and they will tell you, go ahead and try. It might. But in my industry, it did not work. And this was what happened. So you are better informed. You are better equipped. And this doesn't have to only be limited to revenue generating to have this master alliance. It could be management. They could be your team members. But it will give you access to enormously greater intellectual capital. Because here, with mastermind alliances, you are leveraging capital, not only financial capital, but relational capital, intellectual capital, people's brains and experiences and observations, and different ways of seeing situations. The 9th pillar here is turning you into an idea generator and recognized innovator within your industry or market. 10, making growth thinking a natural part of your everyday philosophy. 11, reversing the risks for you and your customers. 12, testing. Test. And here, we use the funnel vision instead of a tunnel vision. In our tunnel, is straight, little, like that, just straight. But a funnel goes in little, but has a wide base, and it expands, it blows out. So, having these strategies, how can you push your business forward? What are the 9 drivers which help you with the greatest leverage in your business? They help you have the greatest impact in your business. And there are 9 of them: marketing, your strategy, capital, business model, relationships, distribution channels, products, services, process, procedures, your systems, your ideologies. I could go into each and every one of them. But because of time, I'm going to just talk on relationships. But each and every one of them, your marketing, your strategy, your capital, they all require relational capital. They all require relationships. They all require relationships. Now, relationships. Here in relationships, I'm not just talking professional relationships, but I'm also talking your individual relationships, your personal relationships that you have with colleagues, with workers, with employees. What relationships you have, your business relationships, professional, mastermind relationships you have. What are the leverages you're using in these relationships? Now, tell me, for example, what if you decided you're going to start like an event? That you're going to start bringing people together by phone, letter, events. You wanted to pick their minds. And you wanted to mastermind with them to find what is their highest performing approaches in business. What's been the best strategy they've ever done to make ridiculous sales in their business. And then their highest and best way is to use capital and operating their businesses at the highest level. That's just a professional way of getting professionals and picking their minds, picking their intellectual capital. But there's also different other kinds of relationships. There's college relationships, your people from college that you can link with, that you constantly build and nurture. Then later, they get into a place where they can help your business, or they can to create such an impact in your business. I'm telling you this because this is an incredible leverage opportunity. Every relationship you have, all your best clients, even if they stop buying from you, because you have such a relationship with them, they can refer new people to you. They can buy even other things that you're selling, or when you have a partnership, they can buy other things that your partnerships are selling. All your business neighbors are all valuable. Everything around you, every relationship is valuable. There's so many opportunities to leverage the relationships you have in your business and outside your business. So we need, and let me tell you about these 9 drivers. Something you need to know, because you need to start focusing on them on a continuous basis, constantly, never ending. You need to constantly monitor, examine, evaluate, understand, and expand your performance levels in each and every one of these 9 drivers, and you will see how fast your business grows. You can harness relational capital in many ways. And some of the ways are you can take ethical advantage of other people's assets, their access, their brand distribution, momentum. You can take economic and strategic advantage of your own company's unused relational capital leverage. When I mean unused, such as what are the relationships your company is not utilizing right now? What links does your company have that you're not using? What are the facilities, equipment, and buildings, credits, IT, brand, and different things that your company has that is not taken advantage of? Another third thing of how you can harvest this relational capital leverage, you can utilize your company or your personal contacts to mine third-party opportunity. Use your company's contacts or your own personal contacts to make third-party relations and get these opportunities. You need to be a matchmaker, a deal maker, a catalyst in this business, because your only restriction will always be your ability to look inside or outside your business, your product, market, or situation, and know exactly where the biggest, best multiple relational capital leverage lies and how you can tap into it. So, if you are unable to look inside and outside your business and know where this relational capital leverage lies, you are restricted. But if not, there is no restriction. Because let me tell you, everyone is doing it. Everybody is leveraging on something, forming alliances. Because it's been seen, corporate alliances right now are growing by 20% minimum every year. 53% of companies were seen to have a structured alliance process reported that they had a better success rate with the alliance than they had averagely by themselves. And their success rate was seen to be about 80%. You might say, but my sector is medical. What kind of alliance can we do? You can't do any alliance. My sector is insurance. What kind of alliance can we do? We have competitors. We can't do. My friend, alliances are relevant in every sector. Every sector. Whether it's a competition or whether it's the alliances are relevant in financial, transportation, services, retail, energy, electronic, telecommunication, health. You see alliances everywhere. Even coming to this pandemic right now that we're in, there is an alliance. If you didn't know, let me tell you. There's what we call the Gavi the Alliance Network. There's an alliance in providing, they call themselves Gavi. Now, this alliance they started since about 2015. They are tasked with when issues come up in the health side, they make sure that vaccines are produced to combat whatever happens. That's why you notice that in 2018 when Ebola was around, there was a lot of Bill Gates and the rest of them were really instrumental because they were part of the Gavi Vaccine Alliance to make sure that a vaccine was tried to be produced for the Ebola. And now, even in this COVID-19, they're working on producing a vaccine for it. And Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, is comprised of WHO, UNICEF, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, World Bank, some country governments, you have some research agencies, part of them, some private sector companies, vaccine manufacturers, some society organizations, and some other country governments that will implement this. All form this Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance. And see, we consider from the graph that by 2018, they had produced about 7 vaccines. And their target for this year is to produce 20, and to produce about 10, of which we already know that the COVID-19 vaccine is among them. So you can see the benefits. You can see what it really entails. Now, while you're trying to go at it alone, agile-minded, leverage-minded enterprises are maximizing their own and other people's resources to bring huge increases to their bank accounts. There's no reason why you should do it alone for your company, product, or service. You need to form an alliance. You need to maximize relational capital. Because why focus on this relational capital leverage? Because one, focusing on relational capital while forming partnerships, joint ventures is important. One, because one, they help the business that successfully do them worth more. Help you in wealth creation, help your cash flow, help your brand currency. They produce far higher average revenues for the company, getting to use the other person's relational capital. They also make the business owner startup more productive, more effective, and more efficient immediately. And we can see from this graph that a lot of CEOs that really do partnerships have discovered that strategic alliances is one of the major factors that help them in increasing their market share. These major things for companies is it helps accelerate growth, it helps them enter new markets, accelerates research and development, and so much more. If your business doesn't have all the capital resources it needs or craves, what would you do with the capital if you got it today? I'm sure with the capital you have right now, you would then be able to look for who has these resources that I don't have that I can join with. There are other ways of leveraging on other people, which I'm sure you've heard me talk about. It's other people's money, other people's time, other people's work, other people's experiences, other people's ideas, their distribution channels, and their current customers. When you talk about using other people's money, because some people's business trash might be some business treasures. Some leads they don't sell, you can monetize them. People who are not using their list because they see the money is in the list. They might have people that customers that are they're not even using at all. You can monetize the use of these customers. Let me give you two examples. You see the Pepsi, and I'm sure you've seen these concerts that have been happening right now between Nigerian musicians and the bottling companies, Pepsi, Star, and the rest of them. All those are alliances. Pepsi and all these other bottling companies are leveraging on the Nigerian musicians' brands to increase themselves. So also the Nigerian musicians are leveraging on Pepsi's international known name and goodwill to also raise themselves up. So it's an alliance. They're leveraging on what they can both gain. Another example, this started in the US, especially, and we can see it right now. So I'm going to give you a Nigerian example. You see ShopRite. Do you see the amount of crowd every single day that goes into ShopRite and out of ShopRite? The amount of crowd that goes every single day going into any of those ShopRite malls or different things and coming out. Somebody in the banking sector thought, whoa, this is a traffic source that I should not lose. I must see how I can maximize the effort in it. And then you began to see ATMs having ATM kiosks everywhere close to every shopping mall. Because there's a crowd. Sometimes the people might not carry enough money, but they can get in the ATM, go to the ATM machine, slot it in, get out money, use. And people will say, oh, I see a lot of GTB ATMs right here. I should get a GTB account. That's leverage. That's leverage. And then next you see, if you look at the Ikeja City Mall, as a very good example. If you come out of ShopRite, you walk about 5 steps, you see about 3 or 4 ATMs. To the right, to the left, you see a Glow. You see this health company, Health Plus or Med Plus. You see Glow, and then if you walk 2 or 3 steps further down, you begin to see all these food vendors, Chicken Licking, KFC, Domino's, and why? They are leveraging on the crowd of people that come into ShopRite every single day. They are leveraging on that crowd. These are alliances. Types of alliances you could engineer. As many as they are: joint ventures, acquired leads, co-branding, host beneficiary, equity partnership, sales force, enter new market, new products, and so on and so forth. And when you engineer doing these alliances, you want to make sure that you make this deal successful, especially when you're leveraging on other people's resources. And how do you do this? You need to analyze what the real leverage is in every deal. If I'm leveraging on this person's relationships, this my friend Pepsi is leveraging on the goodwill. The Nigerian musicians are leveraging on the goodwill and the CSR of the bottling companies, while Pepsi is leveraging on the influence that these Nigerian musicians have on Nigerians. So, if they can align themselves with these Nigerian musicians, it brings more sales to them, more people to buy their products. And the Nigerian musicians are leveraging on Pepsi's international status, their goodwill, their CSR. So, when you analyze what the real leverage is in every deal, You also need to know what you expect to gain from the alliance, because you've got to structure this alliance to be very fair. You just don't do it like you're trying to structure a deal and you want to get as much benefit. No, you do it like you're structuring a real successful business. And all deals must be fair. I'm going right ahead of, I'm going way past the time I set, so I'll quickly go through it all. Now, how do we start doing this deal and making it successful? Get our list, look at it specific, all the potential strategic partners we want to do. We begin to contact them, identify and recognize their resistance to the partnerships, and begin not to try and avoid traps of not selecting the right partner, not planning to change, not agreeing on goals and different other things. We need to know these traps and avoid them. And then when we're closing the deals, we need to be strategic, understand the psychology from both sides, from both parts, because everybody doesn't want any risk. So we need to make the deal such that there's no risk to anyone. There's just incremental gains. There's margin what increase on both sides. Both sides have strategic advantage. There's so much opportunities and advantage with this deal. And then we're going to craft an agreement that will be written down. The agreement to show the terms, the duration, the mutual performance expectations, whether the deal is a non-corporate deal or it's a corporate deal, the residual stream after the deal ends that will come to both parties. When you're terminating the deal, what's the value of the deal that when it's terminated? Does the deal dissipate? Does the value of this deal after it's terminated dissipate, or is the value still there? Who owns what? The assets that has been gotten during the deal. Who owns it? Who owns the account? Who owns the prospect? Who owns the brand? So those things are also put into agreements, and those are things you need to also be very, very careful about. Because to make this deal work, we've got to be inventive. We've got to keep our eyes on the prize. The alliance must be embraced by all. And when you and your partners view the alliance as having strong strategic value, the alliance has a triple success rate. You need to communicate very early on in the alliance on the rules, the expectations, the capabilities, and performance function. Do you know that 2 to 4 wisely chosen alliances can yield a 50 to 100% increase in revenue? And the process of how to turn this one-time deal that Pepsi has with these Nigerian musicians, this one-time deal they do, into a perpetual and ongoing revenue source is when we begin to put in relational capital. We begin to nurture this relationship. Every year we say we will always have this deal every year, and we begin to look towards it. We begin to nurture the relationship, and it's impacting both our businesses. We program the relationship of perpetual, ongoing regular offerings. We create ongoing streams of revenue, and we monitor and measure every result we get. So, in doing this deal, what are your strategic objectives? As I'm closing, what do you need to know? You start with the big objectives, the big picture. What exactly do I want to achieve? What's my goal? Now, when I know what's my goal, what are the key components that are necessary to drive it to this goal? Where are they going to come from? Why is it necessary? What are my alternatives and options, if I have any? Do I want to expand markets, products, distribution, sales representation, a cost-effective impact? Do I want to gain valuable and strategic assets, access, resources, or talents? What exactly am I looking for? What do I have right now? Do I have products and services? Do I have distribution channels? Do I have salespeople, sales methodologies, technology, facility, equipment, intellectual property, technical abilities, brand? What are the things I do have? You need to take note of them. And then when you know what you have, you begin to look at what are the things I don't have. Those are the resources I need to leverage outside. If I don't have products, if I don't have services, I don't have talent, I don't have processes, I don't have purchasing power, I don't have distribution channels, I don't have office spaces. I need to get these things. When you know what you have, you know what you don't have to make your business work. So what do I need that my business doesn't have and requires? I look for people who has these things, people who have credits, who have raw materials, who have marketing strategies, who have management, who have skill sets, who have training, who have equipment, who have the very things I'm looking for that I do not have, who have facilities, distribution, value added things, entry level products, and complementary products to my business. Because all these things can expand my possibilities. I begin to think about who are the people I want to reach. Who is my target audience? Who are the people I want to sell to? What other things do these people want to buy? Before mine, while they're buying mine, after buying mine, or instead of buying mine? What are the things? Before, during, after, and instead of. So I begin to think deeply on these things. And then I think, with these other things I'm looking for, if I notice the other products they buy outside mine, I begin to ask, who has these products? Who provides these products or services? Do they have assets that I don't have? Do they have materials and things that the market really needs that I don't have? What problem or opportunity is my product or service supplying for this market? And what does their supply for the market? And then I also begin to think, can I acquire these businesses? If it's a competitor, are they small? Are they large? Are they weak? Are they strong? If they are, can I buy them over? If they're complementary products they have that can be bought before my products or during my products, can I form an alliance with them? Or can they be bought instead of? Can I form an alliance with them? Who has a sales force, salespeople that's not using them optimally? Can I tap into them? Who sells to the same demographic profile of people that I want? Who's authored the book that's respected in my field? Who has influence in my market? Who is not a distributor or a direct competitor in my market? How can I do alliance with my suppliers, with my competitors? You begin to think deeply because when harvesting relational capital, it brings you maximum unlimited wealth. Do you know the 50% of all alliances happen also within competitors? For example, Ford and Nissan, both car companies, design and manufacturing, have an alliance, and they're generating much more than they would as individual companies. Coke and Pringles. Let me tell you about the Coke and Pringles alliance. Coke and Pringles have an alliance so that when you buy Coke, you get a free Procter & Gamble Pringles for free for buying a Coke. Coke is leveraging on that in the sense that it's helping them buy more sales. So people who love Pringles, they would buy a Coke. So Coke is getting into Pringles markets. And for people who love Coke, because they love Coke and they buy Coke, they get to have Pringles with it. Pringles is also getting into Coke's markets. Both are sharing markets, even though they both have specific markets, but they're coming together to form an alliance. We have Philips and Sony optical discs providing CDs. And then we have HP and Canon, both laser printer markets coming together. These are things that's happening right now. So you can see the value of relational capital. How there's no need to think about retrenching staff because these staff have relationships that you can leverage on. What are the leverages I can make do in and outside my business? In my business, I'm talking about my staff. I'm talking about my business connections. I'm talking about my personal relationships. Outside my business, I'm talking about the people I relate with. What are the connections, the leverages I can make or I can take a hold of? The hidden opportunities in my business that I can take a hold of and use. What alliances can I make in and outside my business to make sure that my business stays afloat? That, my friends, is relational capital, because it's relationships, not just people, that build sales and profitability. Thank you very much. And now I do have a one-time offer for you, because here at Ivan Consult, we're a business growth company. So this offer is only for a short period of time, between 24 to 72 hours. If you have a company and you are on this webinar, and you do have a company that has been rocky or things have been tough, and you just want a consultant to be able to help consult for your company, to help you see what are the problems you can avoid in your company and how to go forward. We're opening this opportunity, which we don't do often or even rarely at all. Open this opportunity for free consultation between 24 to 72 hours. So, or if you're on this webinar and you know a friend that you feel would benefit from a free consultation of his company to see the possibility of how the company can increase growth, you can reach out to us, but you must be from this webinar and then inform us of the referral. So thank you very much. The emails are there, info@ivanconsult.com, paul@ivanconsult.com, and the phone number is there to reach out. Don't forget this one-time offer. Don't miss it, for 24 to 72 hours. Thank you very much.